Welcome to the database management section of computer literacy. Many times students will ask me, why do I need to learn about databases? When will I ever use a database? And it kind of makes me laugh because I tell the students, you're using databases every day without even necessarily knowing that what you're using is a database. One of the most common databases is email. Email servers are great big database servers, and each single email message is a record that they send back and forth between them. Each record has individual fields that makes it up. An email record has to, carbon copy, blind carbon copy, subject, the actual content of the email, and any attachments that you may have. YouTube is also a large database. It allows you to store, in my case, organize my videos, or to easily search videos created by other people. Amazon and every single shopping site out there are large databases that contain information on the customers who they're shipping to, as well as every single piece of material or goods that they're selling. Everything's stored in a giant database. Facebook and other social media, they're also database driven. Databases drive the majority of websites. Many people, when I say this, say, well, that's great. Well, I guess I know how to use a database, but why would I ever want to create one? Well, personally, I love databases. Long ago and far away, when I was in college, I worked as an import-export specialist, and that meant that I had to type on multi-page carbon forms. If I meant a mistake, it meant usually having to start over and throwing away the form, which could cost $2 to $3 per form. Any single shipment could need up to 7 forms with the same information on them. That's a good key right there, that it was a good choice to use a database to solve that problem. Anytime you're using the same information in multiple formats, a database is a potential way to make that easier. One of the things that I had to do for each shipment was look up each good in the United States International Trade Commission Harmonized Tariff Schedule. Back then, it was the mid-90s, I had to look it up in a big book like a phone book. Now it's online in a database which is searchable and makes things much faster. When I was working there, it took me a long time initially to find each machine part that I was shipping and get help classifying it, and it was very tedious and cumbersome. The first week that I was at that job, I had to do one 7-page shipment. Each page had 7 or 8 different products on it that I had to classify, and then I had to type this into multiple forms. I had to look up everything in the harmonized code, cross-reference it with experts, and then once I did have all this work done, I had to make copies for a paper filing cabinet. By the last week I was there, I'd programmed my entire job into an Access database. I was in college to become a programmer, and I was studying databases at the time. And when I was done, instead of typing in the goods myself, the people who were shipping the shipments would typically, instead of writing handwritten notes, they'd open up a packing list in my database, and they'd assign a number to the shipment, and they'd just start typing in the goods for me. So instead of having to type in each thing and starting over if I made a mistake 7 times, it was entered into the database 1 time. Then I could put in the different forms that I needed to use into my Impact printer so that I could print instead of type. That way there were no errors, plus by using the same database to create all the forms, they were all identically typed, which helped avoid errors and made them move through customs faster. So it took a job that initially took me roughly 30 hours in a week to do a shipment. That same shipment when I left would have taken me 30 to 35 minutes. I still would have needed to look up the harmonized code, but in the database I had a table of the 400 or so codes that we used regularly, cross-referenced by what the guys on the shop floor called the parts, so looking them up got much simpler, and I only had to classify a new part maybe once or twice a month by the time that I left, because we were shipping the same thing over and over again. So I've seen that there are a lot of different uses for databases in business, but people also use them at home to keep track of various items, to have databases of coin collections or other items to keep track of what they have. There's lots of different ways to use a database, and I hope that by the end of this unit you'll see that they're not that hard to work with.